Lease-to-own might just be hands down the best way for you to get started investing in commercial real estate, especially if you are a business owner. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. There are many different avenues that you can take to get started in real estate, and these pathways can differ depending on many factors, such as your financial standing, your risk tolerance, and even your availability of debt around you. If you are low on capital or just prefer to keep your cash as liquid as possible, one option you may be able to pursue is called a lease-to-own approach. So here are the pros and cons of the lease-to-own strategy. First, what is lease-to-own? Well, lease-to-own or rent-to-own or rent-to-purchase, as it's often called, is a contract between an owner and a tenant where the tenant has the option to purchase the property before the end of the lease or within a predetermined time period. So just think of it like your typical real estate lease with an option to purchase the property too. They may be more commonly found when you're leasing a car, but their use in real estate has been growing in popularity in recent years as the market becomes tougher and tougher to break into. As part of the agreement, the tenant not only pays the monthly rent, but they can also pay a one-time fee at the start of the lease or an additional amount each month, which will be applied towards the purchase price of the property if and when the tenant elects to buy it. So why might an investor use this strategy? Well, one reason is that you may be low on cash. In this situation, it could be an individual who is newer to real estate investing, or even a seasoned investor who simply cannot attain additional funding. The lease-to-own strategy grants an investor extra flexibility and gives them time to build up their savings towards a down payment. Another reason why someone might pursue a lease-to-own option is that they're unsure if the surrounding community is where they want to live or work, because you can do this obviously in both commercial and residential real estate. Being able to occupy the property before purchasing it allows an individual to be sure of their decision. So let's dive into the advantages of using a lease-to-own agreement. Well, one benefit is that there is a pre-negotiated sales price. You will know exactly what you will have to pay to purchase that property going into the agreement. And the owner of the property cannot just inflate the purchase price on you at the last minute because they feel like it has gone up in value. Additionally, the value of the property could increase substantially while you're renting it, which could allow you to purchase the property for a below market price, again, since you negotiated that on the front end, and find better financing terms since you have more equity built in, or just flip it for a substantial profit. Another pro for utilizing lease-to-own is that a portion of the payments, whether you made them on the front end or negotiated to make them each and every month, will apply towards your down payment if you opt to move forward with the purchase. Since these payments can apply to the total price, they can significantly decrease your down payment at the end of the lease and help you maintain your cash on hand. Another advantage is that the current owner will still be responsible for maintaining the property, unless, of course, your lease says otherwise. As a tenant, you will have the opportunity to test out all of the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and everything else with the building before you buy the site and move in. It never hurts to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So now that we've looked at the pros, let's look at some of the downsides to a lease-to-own agreement. Well, one issue with a lease-to-own deal is that the option fee, if you paid one, is likely non-refundable. Typically, the option fee is a notable portion of the overall property value that is applied towards your down payment should you exercise the option. However, if you choose not to exercise the option and buy the site, you could lose out on that money. For instance, if you could not afford to pay the rest of the down payment on or before the expiration of the lease option, your opportunity to purchase the building could be taken away, and then you'd be left with nothing. No investor wants to lose out on money like that. It's kind of the opposite reason for why you got into investing in the first place. So lease-to-own options can be a little riskier than some others. Another downside with a lease-to-own agreement is that the monthly rents are more expensive than they would be with a typical lease, since a portion of those rents would be applied towards the purchase price. This structure protects the current owner and ensures that they will be paid the correct rent amount each month, regardless if you exercise your option to buy the property. The above market rental rates do not matter if you do end up buying the property because some of it is going towards your required equity. However, if you choose not to, all you've done is pay higher than market rates with absolutely no return. Another drawback is that until you've bought the property, you're still a tenant. And that can be frustrating for some because you may feel like the property is already yours, but you will need to wait until you have actually purchased the property to make any major changes. Unless, of course, you've negotiated something differently. That's kind of the problem with all of these deals, right? Is it just depends on what you've negotiated. The current owner will still have full control of the property until the end of your lease, and you will need to abide by the rules of that legal document. Now, are there different types of lease-to-own agreements? Well, of course there are. Just like almost any scenario in real estate, everything is negotiable. In fact, many of the aspects of the lease-to-own strategy that we just discussed could be completely different, depending on what you and the seller are both comfortable with signing. A standard agreement consists of a lease and an option fee, as we previously discussed. Another type of lease-to-own agreement is a lease purchase agreement. In this arrangement, a tenant is obligated to purchase the property upon expiration of their lease. Think of it like you're putting the property under contract, and you are also allowed to pay rent and occupy the space in the meantime. There are really an infinite number of ways to structure these deals depending on how creative you're willing to get. So, should you buy real estate using a lease-to-own agreement? Well, of course, that completely depends on your situation, but a lease-to-own agreement is a great tool for investors who are either low on cash or have maxed out their ability to get new capital. There are many benefits, including the opportunity to test out a property before buying it, the ability to purchase a property at below future market rates, and less cash out of pocket all at once because of how the deal is structured. There are also some downsides, of course, because if you decide not to purchase the property, then you will have paid far more than necessary every month for rent. Now, that being said, if you are looking to get into real estate and want to pursue a lower risk option for your first deal, a lease-to-own agreement could be a great way for you to start your journey. If you'd like to explore other low to no money down options for investing in real estate, check out this video here.